I would like to begin today by sharing the story of a dear friend. When she was 10, she left Mexico with her mother and brother to come to the United States. Brilliant at school, fantastic in her extracurricular activities, my friend is a young woman who has excelled in her young life. After a few years of living in the States, her and her family were able to gather the substantial funds to get their temporary legal residence. After that process, they were forced into a situation that required them to raise even more money to apply for their normal legal permanent residence. Despite years of paperwork, enormous costs, and lingering uncertainty, my friend earned admission into a top university. Nonetheless, her path required her to overcome significant financial obstacles due to her citizenship status. With a gracious smile on her face, she made it through the first 3 years of college, and then her financial aid package was altered. Her college took most of her financial aid away, and the amount she needed was made only available to citizens. At this point, she and her family are eligible to become citizens, but remain unable to pay for the process.
A simple look toward heaven. The world would be black, and the sky migrating between darkness and darkest blue. As she allowed her heart surge toward the heavens in a thin wail, feeble and barely audible, the words not discernible, which made the spirit lean to hear. For soon the sky became an embracing of joy as the sun lifted over the horizon.
While trying to make monthly payments to her school, she continues to take her courses. Through her determination and research, she's now more than halfway through her master's degree, has published research, and received fellowship offers from across the world. But because of her citizenship status, she's unable to take or finish any of it. Her citizenship status is preventing her from receiving the undergraduate diploma, preventing her from completing her master's, and she has been forced to pass on several life-changing opportunities.
This is how you learn to love. All this was that year my parents left me in Pecos, Texas, to go back home to Mexico and apply to stay in the U.S. forever. I was 7 years old and knew only I was left behind to continue in school and believe in our dream. I lived with my grandparents and cousins and aunts and an uncle, and sorrow, for I missed my father and mother. Every day my heart broke so much, she would take me with her to pray the red sun into rising so all would turn out well. Because to learn of sacrifice is to learn how to pray and make the day holy.
She and I do share a common experience. See, I am also from Mexico. In fact, our families grew up together during our time there. She was like a fourth child to my parents when she spent time with our family. But here is the difference. While she's struggling to accomplish her dreams, I stand here today knowing I'm about to graduate in May and going to law school. When I was 8 years old, living in the suburbs of Mexico City, my dad received a job opportunity in England. Thus, we would spend the next 4 years of our lives living in the privileges of an international education system, travel, and other fruits of our accomplishments. At the end of this time, my dad was once again asked to move our family. In this occasion, our destination was the United States. When we arrived to the U.S., my family faced and understood for the first time the meaning of being judged and treated based on the color of your skin, ethnic background, and place of origin. As Mexicans, at the time with British accents, my sisters and I faced a constant battle in school. It led me to fail my freshman year biology class. The confused attention brought upon us personally took a toll in my academics. As a 13-year-old student who aspired for so much, my world was silently coming down. All of my aspirations of changing the world were becoming nothing but a distant memory. Such feelings were only reinforced by a community that could not understand how I could speak so eloquently and still be Mexican, or how my family could afford to live where we did, followed by countless random airport checks that have caused my family and I to miss flights time and time again, or restaurants refusing to use coupons we had because they were not a charity.
Or else I believe in silence and the pain of it. Don't get me wrong, there are days I wonder if it was real, the sun rising because of her prayers. Perhaps she was some mad, impossible angel who, while searching for Eden, stumbled upon simple causation. A prayer made, the sun rises, resembling the creation and the grace, the spark, illuminating the ground before our feet. But I listened to her prayers, long and rambling, seemingly rooted in a different world altogether. I have to believe she crept into the sacred, as she were part of it, and God relied on her prayer, and her words make it awful meaning. If I'm to believe in grace or joy, and also love. It was a simple equation to her. I wish I could tell you I was brave, but I was not. I was 7 years old, illegal, and my parents had left me behind in the U.S. so they could apply for Mexico. And as such, my spirit was breaking apart from stress. My hands a smattering of cuticles cut into lesions. My lips bled from biting them over and over compulsively. And maybe she saw something could be saved in me, for she could take me out with her to pray in the mornings, and then the sun would rise. It was a simple equation, and maybe what I learned is that to be brave is to love so badly your body breaks. Then you can pray.
So I ask, what makes my friend and I different? Very unarguably, she is a better student than I am. She has taken care of her family in ways I have never. And still, she is being deprived from so many opportunities. Do not be mistaken. Her story is not the unique one here. Mine is. My family has been favored by a broken immigration system and sponsored by the right company. We moved swiftly to the U.S. and received our legal permanent resident status only 2 months after applying. It took my friend and her family 8 years to receive theirs.
The prayer of a child. Ask me of the heart of a 7-year-old, and I can tell you, if he falls down playing, so big is his heart, a mother's kiss is enough to heal him. And when I was left behind in Pecos, Texas, to continue believing in our American dream, and I fell, and I had no one to heal me, my grandmother took me outside with her to raise the sun and make the day holy, telling me the heart of a 7-year-old is so big, he will believe the breaking of his heart does not go unnoticed, or his prayers answered.
In my pursuit to live out the Christian faith and to follow a righteous path, I have come to face decisions that may have personal consequences. Allow me to share one with you today. My family has recently become eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship and have started the process, with the exception of me. Why? Because I want to start paving another way for Latinos and Hispanics, as well as other immigrants, to be successful, one that does not require the pursuit of a piece of paper. As thousands of students follow their path set by God, a status should not be an obstacle in their way. While I am moving forward without the full support of my family, friends, and sometimes at my own self-doubt, I trust that the same God that guided the Israelites, the same God that puzzled my being together, will guide me in my journey of pursuing the creation of a just, merciful, and loving existence for people in this country that have similar stories as my friend.
The particles in her words. It was the way her prayer was illuminated seconds later that allowed me to believe. She linked her ordinary words to the sun rising, reprising creation in the convergence of word and light. Then and there, I knew her prayer bridged the gap between word and action, revealing the presence of God and making the day holy. The purpose of the heart creating. Her prayer made the sun rise and the day be made holy. For her purpose was to lose herself in this great large house, and what doors exist be thrown open and all guests received in communion. Her prayer was my first experience with the art of a poet, as well as with the heart of a poet.